Hello, this is Niswander, and I'm at a metro train station. And what's really unusual is I'm the only one in this whole station, it seems, which is, I don't know if that's ever happened to me before. That's interesting. Now, speaking of metro trains, the public transportation system here in Los Angeles is certainly getting better. There is an extension of the Purple Line, and there's a lot of projects, I guess, in the works. I'm not familiar with all of them, but a lot. I'm just aware of the Purple Line train extension. Of course, it ends right now in essentially in Wilshire and Western. I guess that's still Koreatown, which is where I'm at right now. But this is the Red Line, which goes from North Hollywood, my old neighborhood, to Union Station, downtown LA. So public transportation, we need more of it, because we do need to focus on transitioning to solar and wind technologies, stop taking so many fossil fuels out of the ground. That's sustainability, as well as just common sense to transition to the renewables and the things that are really free, the sun, the wind, and don't pollute the environment. And universal basic income, I'm going to say it over and over and over again. We can't wait for government bureaucracy to be worked out. What we can do while we are advocating for it and implementing it is demand that the entities that are involved in it, let's say private sector or even the government, they must make sure that the benefits go to those who need the money and not to those who don't really need the money. And that includes corporate interests. So the most important thing is to realize that most people are not lazy. Most people want to be productive and are productive. We all create the wealth together. In reality, the system is rigged, and more people are figuring that out. We need solutions, and universal basic income is a way to get there, just like Medicare for all, which is based on a model that is global and single-payer healthcare administrated by public sources. And when people talk about government, we are the government. If you want to give the government to a handful of oligarchs and rich people, that's not what I want. We're all the government, not a minority of people that have the most money. And that's what the average U.S. American needs to realize. We, the majority of people, are the government, not a handful that somehow seem to be the ones that have rigged the system so that they basically manipulate, control the wealth and decide how it's distributed. And then we have major income inequality and economic crisis that just gets worse and worse, let alone the political crisis that we're in this country, as the two parties, Democratic and Republican, many feel is a duopoly, one party serving big money interests. Their popularity is rapidly declining, and independent voters, the independent people, that those numbers are on the increase. So things are changing. And of course, worker cooperatives, we have to have a truly cooperative society, build economy around the idea of cooperation. And of course, that literally starts on the ground in our relationships together. So when people are reaching out to you to collaborate, to cooperate, that's what it means. It isn't based on an ego gratification, saying that, it's not it's like a conversation. It's not one-sided. That's not cooperation. Cooperation is mutually beneficial, and that requires communication, and that requires people truly cooperating together if, in fact, you want a cooperative society. and of course, a cooperative economy, etc., etc. And I'm going to be talking about this stuff more and more. And you might say, Dan, just enough already. But I'm going to repeat it as much as I need to until a significant number of people are working together in a cooperative fashion to realize that these are things that we need to move humanity forward in realistic ways, because we cannot persist allowing political and economic crises to continue as they are. Anyway, this is Niswander, and as always, speaking to you from a metro train station where there seems to be no one else in it. I love y'all.